That working? Right, that's working. Sure. Right, I'm going to come back with emails soon, and I'm going to get the emails started with them two Labour cardboard cutouts up there. I don't represent any of you, and they've premeditated and sold the field off from under your feet, people. And I'm going to show this, and they just sit there, not answering questions. So we'll come back to them, but it relies on Angela pulling the emails out for us, which is going to happen, but she's just been busy at the minute. She works for the NHS and that, you know, so she's a busy person, you know, so we will be getting to them soon. And then I'll get that Kipper Kemp, you know. Right. Been a serious breach of trust here with the council. Serious breach of trust. People, you can't trust them at all. This isn't a good way to go. So tolling, I'm just going to mention some bits here, what's in me head now, boiling with them. But yeah, tolling. We'll get onto these now. So tolling's part of the problem as well, because I sit with the council in this, and here's how it's went with tolling. So Angela contacted the chief exec quite a while ago, you know, and all that, with emails. Didn't even bother his backside. This is a disdain that he does it as well. This is a technique they do, eh? Wow, what's going on there? So he wouldn't reply, eh? So the consultation that they put out was totally unfair, and it's not just. So it hasn't been fair and just on the consultation, and I'll read that out when it comes with emails, and you'll see it. You couldn't reject it. You've heard the cracking previous, eh? Total, absolute disgrace, man. Disgrace. Right. So there was this is another consultation, because they're doing that Newburn, aren't they? Same crack, got considerate builders on the fence and all that. Considerate my arse, well. So, right, my mate lives doing Newburn. I've mentioned this in previous ones, but them are just getting little snippets of these last ones I'm doing, man. If you look back on a lot of the videos, you'll hear more in it. Bit rawer than, like, still bad new, but, you know, don't feel quite as bad, like, still rough, but, right. So doing Newburn, my mate lived 2 doors up from that development they're doing there on Newburn Road. And they never got to know about the consultation, 2 doors away from it. And then when his wife phoned up, she, you know what I said? You're not how I'm looking at it. You're not how I'm looking at it. What's that got to do with it? It has a strain on the doctors in the schools and the rest and all that, as well as other things now, you know. This is how they treat them and all that, you know. And also a lot of people there was talking to, and another one that, so they were putting a consultation at a certain time when people were at work, and not hardly anybody could turn up, and this is how they do it. They tick a box and then they take it, eh? This is tolling here, tolling, right. But then I haven't heard this crack before when, right. Joanna Gilbert. She's quite an important person that come up here to pass the DAP, which is a document of the council, which is terrible, but they passed it, eh? And she was up, and she's on over £1,000 a day plus expenses. So she's, you know, sent up by the Secretary of State. You think this is quite important, wouldn't you? So as you have heard in the previous ones, when Angela was getting blocked on documents on her 3 laptops that she signed into, this was one of the parts. And then when she eventually got it and put it to herself on the computer, it stopped there and then, you know. Now, when she couldn't do it on her own, my son upstairs could get it on his. Other people out there on that other one that she'd signed, them could get it on. And these are public documents, people, that were being blocked. There. So she was sent up to pass Thornley Road Development, the DAP and Thornley Road Development. Now, this is a tricky part. We've got to get around here because it's some sort of, the way they're putting it, they're suggesting tolling's a part of this, the council. So there's somebody passing the book here. So when she come up to pass Thornley Road, she was showing attached notes. In them attached notes were various pockets of open space, and our field was mentioned in it. In the notes it said these will remain accessible. And what they've done, that they were trying to say they were sending, we're doing you would have to take us to court. It wouldn't let us get an answer from her. So they've ignored Joanna Gilbert's. Well, it's affected her outcome, hasn't it? She's passed Thornley Road, so in theory they're supposed to be remain accessible. There must have been a shortage of it somewhere else. They wouldn't attach notes, of course, would they? So what them was suggesting, and I need to look back at the paperwork, but just off my head, I'll say that they were suggesting that then didn't show the notes or wrote them. They're trying to see it looks like Toland done it. No, is this right, people out there who know a bit about this? Is Toland in charge of your open space now, a builder? And did them put notes in, and would them have handed the notes in personally to Joanna Gilbert to show, or did the council hand the notes in from them? Or is it the council's? Yeah. It's one of them. So just focus on the main point. The main point is an inspector's been sent up, just looked at notes, and then they've taken that field a month later, put it into property services and then sold it. So they've ignored someone from down the smoke, eh? Really. Right, let's get into this bit, yeah. So comments, people, when people put comments on these local networks, so I'll just list them. The Labour site, they knock comments off. The Chronicle do the same. Anything that's not with their shit narrative, they'll knock them off. MP's the same. Come to her, that idiot. What a clown she is. Not a good person, you've heard the crack. And lo and behold, next door. So what? Who owns next door? Who set it up? Who runs it? We need to know. Because Brimey mate puts out bits to tell you that I'm putting something out. And he's had a few people put comments on, and the ones that were pretty positive and good and real, they've taken them doing people off his. So there's something going on there. Tracy, lass on her, up Throttley. Well, she ain't got the kids in the school now, but just a while ago she was writing to the school and all that, putting on their site about the carcinogens that they've just opened up here. And you know what they've done? They've blocked her. Take kids' health serious. Really? Wow. Shocking, man. Shocking. Right, as you can see, get some photographs, people. Them ripping this soil up because the carcinogens are in the made-up ground. Significant levels of carcinogens. Not good for your kids, man. 2 primary schools as well as the residents. They're just ripping that open. Didn't give 2 tosses. And just bear in mind that that important issue wasn't even highlighted to the planning committee. And that's when David Cook said there's never been, so in his 10 years on the job of a planning committee, he's never seen anything like the openness transparency with his feeling. It's a tip of the iceberg, you've heard the crack. So he said it and we know it and we've got it. So away. So they're opening it up and didn't care. Past that, as you've heard, anybody that's checked it back, corruptly passed it. They were starting to get told the information and then they said it's COVID thingy, we've got somebody got COVID or something, and they just corruptly passed it. Total corrupt people. When you hear about it and see it, it's going to really boil you, I'm telling you, really, really boil you, right? Just a quick couple of bits, right? We all need to see full transparency, openness and accountability, and that's not what we're seeing. He's just come back with the same bland statement saying he's been answered in the past and that's good enough for him. So he's jumped in the swamp, both feet in, sticking up for them, talking shite. So it's either one of these 2 ways, people. It's either he knows, and I believe he does, like, we'll see. I believe he knows and he's covering it. That's why his face looks always angry and all that, like. Or some sort of, what are they? Officers who are telling him this. If they're not telling him the full truth and we get this shit, he'll let us sack them because they've dropped them right in it. So it's either them, yeah. Right. And if we can, right. What we need to do, people, we need to get it out and share it as much as possible. And someone out there will help with a way forward somewhere. And that's what we all need to do. We need to find a way forward and catch them with this now, because let's catch them in the act. So they're in the act of stealing your field now and here. And they're going to be there a little while with it. So we need to catch them with it. And when we do, people, you'll feel a lot better, man. I'm telling you, it's like Alva will, and they'll put a stop to this nonsense, how they do it all the time. And we'll see, we'll see. Right, just a couple of bits. Right, Angela's freedom of information, waiting to come back. Now there's some parts that was missing when they said we had them and they didn't. I just listed these, which I'll read the emails out. And they'll be kind of important and all, of course, because I haven't given them, you know. But there's enough in the pile, as you've heard, to hang it on them, and they'll hang high, I'm telling you. Right, so we'll see what happens with that. So look, if it comes back that there's documents missing or destroyed, see, and we're neither there, that becomes criminal, people. And it should be, you know. So we're going to see, and then we'll see what the coppers with the subject access into them idiots. Total clowns, man. Total clowns. Right, I'm going to hit this one. Sport England. You have heard the name. You think it's in the name, eh? Well, they didn't give sport out. They don't give sport to people in West Denton, your kids. They've denied the sport. So them have played their part in this, which is in the previous ones. Then I'll just do it quickly so it enlightens you and you can look back and you hear it to explain more in depth, or I can come up with it in the future and all, or you'd hear it if we can get it forward. So, Sport England in 2016, and there's an unanswered question from them still in all that, I remember back. Not good. So in 2016, Sport England's local Sport England guy was talking to the council, and we've got records that they've been talking. Not what it's about, but we know what it's about. So he's been talking to the council in 2016. Then all of a sudden, they stopped cutting the grass and the goalposts were taken up. So they've obviously given it their blessing. Or they would have said something, wouldn't it? And they're talking about, you know what they're trying to say, them two little bits of grass over there, one's the size of the skateboard park that kind of destroy. That's about an 80 or 100 grand fucking base in there. If you have a look, it just one stuff stood on. And you know it was corruptly taken. We're going to show that as well, you know. So, right, so Sport England are in this. And they're not looking good. They're not looking good. So Sport England don't want to give sport to anybody here in West Denton unless you pay for it. Them are part of it and they've given it their blessing to be taken. And we'll catch them somewhere down the line if we get back in this. They're not looking good, you know. Right, that's going to do for the day, people. Look, take care. Look after yourselves. Have a good time, eh? Remember, share this to anybody and everybody. I know it's embarrassing for me, but it might be why you're sharing it. But look, we do intend to try to get and hang this on them. And when they do, the Labour Party's effed. Big trouble. Right, see you later. Be good. I'll be back. I will be back.